Do you know the truth about children raised by single mothers? Well, today, you're going to find out. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, but I ain't Mr. Rogers. It's your boy, Mike Watt, and I'm here to give it to you raw and direct, every time, all the time. Today, I want to talk about children raised by single mothers. I want to give y'all a lot of insight on why it's not good for mothers to raise their children alone. I know that's not always the plan, but it's a sad reality that that's what sometimes happens. A lot of times, actually. So today we're going to talk about how detrimental it actually is to the kid and how women need to be more cautious about who they lay down with, how men need to be more in tune with this sad reality as well, so that way they could be better fathers. Or it's fathers just, period. So they could be fathers, period. So what I want to start off by doing is I want to give y'all some stats. I always like to give statistics because statistics give you a better insight of what it really is with any scenario, with any situation. When you look at the stats, you can't argue the stats. You can't argue the facts. But wait, before I get started, I got a special treat for y'all. Make sure you pick up the 7 Keys to a Successful Relationship. It's my book. I've been writing this since COVID, since 2020, and it's a must read if you're in a relationship, if you just started a relationship, if you're having issues with your relationship, if anything going on with your relationship where you feel like, okay, you need help, or if you're just planning on trying to get into a relationship, this book will help navigate you through whatever trials and tribulations you might have. It's called The 7 Keys to a Successful Relationship. Pick it up today. It just came out. The link is in the description, and I'm telling you, it's a must-read book. Get it right now. The link is in the description. Listen to this. 63% of youth suicides come from fatherless homes. And when I say fatherless, I don't mean if the father is not in the home, but he's around and he's very active. I mean a father that's not living in a home and also that's not even around, that's not active in that child's life. That's what I mean when I say fatherless, because you can have a fatherless home where the dad don't live there, but he's very active. See the kid every weekend, every other week, or just he always on the phone and everything like that. So when I say fatherless, just know that I'm saying the father is not around at all. Okay? So that's what we're talking about. Inactive dad around. So 63% of youth suicides come from fatherless homes. Then you have 90% of homeless or runaway children come from fatherless homes. 90%. Follow me. I got a lot of stats on this. And then 70% of the entire prison system comes from fatherless homes. Y'all see the trend? Do y'all see where I'm going with this? This is crazy. All right, but I'm not finished. 70% of high school dropouts come from fatherless homes. 70%. 75% of adolescent drug abuse facilities, the children there come from, 75% of the children there come from fatherless homes. I mean, these statistics are crazy. As I was going through these statistics, it was mind-boggling. I'm like, wow. I knew having a father in a home was important, but I never realized how much of a detriment it was when a father is not around. 85% of children with behavior issues come from fatherless homes. 85% of children with behavior issues come from fatherless homes. I'm assuming because, they grow up having a lack of authority, having a lack of respect for authority. Because, when the mom is like, oh, I'm going to tell your dad, or, the dad is the disciplinary of the house and the mom is kind of like the nurturer. So therefore, it's kind of like, oh, if there's no disciplinary figure in the house, a child can grow up not really respecting authority because they're not really used to discipline. So this is what I would attribute to that. Then we have 80% of rapists with anger management issues come from fatherless home. That's deep. That's deep. Then there's girls that come from fatherless homes are 6 times more likely to have a teen pregnancy. Girls that come from a fatherless home are 6 times more likely to be a teen mom. So what's going on? So children that grow up by a single mom are majority high school dropouts, flooding the prison system, committing suicide, runaways and homeless, and whatever other degenerate behavior that happened, gambling, drugs, prostitution, all that is in statistics as well, is a high amount of statistics, but I didn't look that data up, so I'm not giving y'all that because I'm not accurate on what it is. I didn't have these that I mentioned are enough. I don't even want to go into all the issues that these children are having, or not even children, that the society, the adults of society today that are being raised in single mother households is just creating the degenerates of society. Now I get it. A lot of women, you have no choice. But sometimes you do have a choice. And ultimately, the choice starts with who you're laying down with. It starts with who you laying down with, making sure there's some kind of protection, not only from contracting something, but also to make sure you're not getting pregnant, especially by some guy that's not going to be around. So when you look at these statistics, this is the plight of your child. If this guy that you're with isn't going to be around, yeah, of course you could get a good stepdad or something like that, but that is not a guarantee. That's not a guarantee. I mean, there's no guarantee that the guy going to be around, but at least if you try to choose better, try to do better, because you know better, especially when you look at these statistics, especially when you look at these stats. Come on now. 71% of high school dropouts come from fatherless homes. It's crazy. I mean, and then 85% of behavioral problems. So these statistics are astounding. So not only is this a problem, but social media is starting this trend where it's becoming cool to be a single mom, where women are actually seeking out single motherhood. Is this trend called, I don't even know if I should call it a trend, because it's a group of people like 40,000 strong. They're called single mothers by choice. Single mothers by choice. And what they're not really realizing is that, okay, I get it. Biologically, you want to have a kid, but now you're trying to teach these younger generation, these younger girls, so they trying to make it seem like it's cool to be a single mom. I get it. Some women don't have a choice, but a lot of women do have a choice. And also, what about the kids that are growing up in this? They don't have a choice, obviously. And this is what, let's watch this video real quick before I even get started. Let's just watch this video real quick of an example of one of these single mom by choice situations. Check it out.
You might be wondering, if you're thinking about this, okay, all of these women are deciding to be a single mom. And of course, this is now going to get the glamour treatment. So, very beautiful women, and they're going to tell you how happy they are and how fulfilled they are because they had a child by themselves and how great their children are. But you do wonder, and I'm just going through this in my head right now, what about the men that are being raised in those environments? So mom decides to be a single mom. She picks, in America, you can choose gender. I'm going to have boys only. How do those men fare in society? Well, take a listen to one such case.
Brothers Mackenzie and Cooper Schoenthaler were chosen by their mother, a doctor, more than 2 decades ago. She had them at 41 and 45 using the same donor.
We didn't see our parents cry, and scream and throw things, and because there weren't two parents.
How has that impacted your own relationships by not seeing tension, by not seeing people work through those same things that you spoke of?
I think that I am more conflict avoidant than other people as a result, because I was raised in a household with zero conflict. Perhaps that's one of the drawbacks.
Gay. Sorry to say it. But, and by the way, I'm being 90s gay. Just not cool. It's not cool to raise men not to be men. There is an element, okay, of being a man that is attributed to aggression. Aggression is not a bad thing. Now, these new psychoanalysts will try to convince you it is, but it's not. It's natural, okay? It is a biological instinct for men to be aggressive. When I tell you that my son wakes up in the morning, grabs a sword, finds my husband, wants to fight, wants to beat him up, you see this and you go, this is phenomenal. And the reason why that is natural is because men are supposed to go out and defend. Okay, they're not supposed to be sitting in a classroom learning about their feelings and 76 genders that they can choose from. Okay, they are biologically inclined to protect and to defend. And so now what they're doing is they're removing that. And of course, like I said, that is going to be the circumstance when you have them surrounded by women, because I just think, wow, if I was raising my son alone, every time he comes at me with that little plastic sword, the first thing I say is, I don't want to fight. Come find mommy when you want to hug, when you want to be nurtured, okay? So what's happening is you have these female breeders, so to speak, who are breeding that out of men. And let me tell you something right now. There is no society that can survive without strong men. And I think that, of course, is the purpose, to make sure that there is no threat.
She's right. She's right. Today, they trying to emasculate men. I talk about it all the time. If a man act like a man, he get ridiculed, or he's misogynistic, or whatever the case may be, when a man just simply act like a man. Every time he say anything like a man, do anything like a man, if it's not in tune with women, they just say, oh, he's misogynistic. When it's like, okay, why can't a man just be a man. But a lot of times, they're grooming men to be simps. They're grooming society. When I say they, society is grooming men to be simps, grooming men to be women, and grooming men to be basically beta male. So if you act like a alpha male, or if you are an alpha male, you get titled as misogynist or woman hater or anything like that. So I don't know. It's just, but anyway, back to the topic. Let's not forget the impact that a fatherless home has on the girl. It's been said that a girl growing up in a fatherless home is 6 times more likely to be a teen mom. 6 times more likely to have a teen pregnancy. But then also there's a host of other things that a young girl has grown up without a dad at home. I mean, daddy issues is a real thing. We all heard the term daddy issue. That's a real thing. Girls growing up without a father in the home or actively in her life, a prominent male figure at least, but most importantly, a father. They usually have trust issues in men. Growing up, they become women with trust issues in men and makes it difficult for them to have relationships. And like I said, this is just the rule. This is the average. This is not, you might know the exception to the rule. So don't get pulled up into that. But this is the majority. Majority of women have validation issues when they grow up without a father. So they're in a home or actively present in their life. They have validation issues. So the woman or the young girl constantly is seeking validation from men because she never had that father figure in her life that gave her unconditional love. Love without condition. Love without, okay, do this for me and I'll do this for you. A dad just going to do from the day you born. He's just going to do without you giving anything. And at least a good dad. So therefore, these girls now go through life looking and seeking validation from men. So that's what creates thoughts, girls that sleep around, girls with high body counts, prostitutes, because a lot of times girls grow up having a disdain for men, or is no father home. So now we got the stepdad kind of doing things to the girl. I mean, all kinds of stuff like that start happening. Not every stepdad, obviously. I hate the fact that I even got to kind of make it clear because, people just get, oh, I had a stepdad and he never did anything to me. He was great. Like, come on. There's always an exception to every rule. Okay, I don't want to keep saying that, but it's important. But that's what just to name a couple of the things, of the reasons why it's important to have a father in the home for the girls. I just wanted to just kind of like point that out. In line with the social engineering is what I call it. In line with the social engineering of trying to convince women to have kids without a father, they're trying to make it look fun and happy and nice. Watch this video.
I'm a single mom by choice. Of course, all my daughter's weird quirks are from her donor.
I'm a single mother by choice. Of course, we're spending all the holidays with my side of the family. I'm a single mom by choice. Of course, I'm my daughter's favorite parent.
Ha 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 ha. Yeah, exactly. Okay, it's all funny. It's all fun and games. But what about the fact of the kid is not seeing two sides of a family? What about the kid? What about all the stats that I gave? What about all that? See, it's all fun like, oh, my kid chooses me, or my kid only me, or it's my side of the family, or this or that. Okay, I get all that, but that's a small price to pay if you sacrifice that for the child. Think about the child. That's why I feel like it's important to give y'all the statistics, because with the statistics, you could better understand like, wow, okay, maybe somebody somewhere will think like, okay, maybe I should think twice before I lay down with this guy. Maybe I should wear a condom. Maybe I should be more responsible when I'm having sex or before I have sex, or if I'm with somebody that I'm in a relationship and we don't use protection and I'm not on birth control. Maybe I should get on birth control, or maybe I should stop being a thought sleeping around, or even y'all guys, maybe I shouldn't be a dog, or if I'm being a dog, maybe I should use protection or make sure the girl is on birth control or whatever the case may be, instead of it being a free fall. So that's why I wanted to bring the stats, bring the facts, and also talk to the women and the men and say, look, almost every degenerate of society comes from a single mother household. It's not the mom's fault. It's just not in her nature. And before I get a lot of crazy DMs, I'm not saying every single mom is raising a degenerate. I'm not saying that, because I get a lot of DMs of people say, oh, this don't mean that. It's like, okay, when I talk, I'm not talking in blanket terms. There's always an exception to every rule. There's an exception to every rule. I mean, I don't know what idiot don't realize that. But obviously, I'm not going to say every time I say, oh, well, this happens. And it's like, but there's an exception. In life, there's always an exception to every rule. But when we speak in generalities and general terms and everything like that, we talk about the majority, not the minority. We talk about the majority, the rule, not the exception. So therefore, if I say 71% of children that come from a fatherless home are high school dropouts, I'm talking about 71%. I'm not saying every single kid. Obviously, the 29% are not high school dropouts. I mean, come on. So save the DMs in the comments and, oh, this don't mean that. I'm talking about the majorities. I'm giving statistical facts, and the majority is saying single moms are raising fucked up kids. Majority of the time. Not every time, but majority of the time. You might have came from a single parent home and you did good. You went to college and you got a good family. You got this. But if you're a dude, you might be a simp. There might be something wrong, because at the end of the day, I don't care what you say, how good your mom was. If you didn't have a strong male figure in the home, I mean, you know, uncles are good, grandpops are good and stuff like that. But if you didn't have a strong male figure in the home, teaching boys and girls the dynamic of man, woman coexisting together, the dynamic of an authority figure in the house. Mom could have been an authority figure, but it's hard for her to maintain both, because that's not in her nature. It's not in her nature. It ain't her fault. It's not her fault. That's why I want to make it clear. That's not the woman's fault that she can't raise a child 100% correct, because a woman can't teach a man how to be a man, just like a man can't teach a girl how to be a woman. The balance needs to be there. All right. So that's why I want to point out and talk to the women and say, be more selective. Try to be more selective. Body count matters. I already said that. But think about these statistics. Run them back. Run this video back and think about these statistics and say, dang, do I want my child to be a statistic to suicide? Do I want my child to be a rapist? Do I want my child to have anger issues? Do I want my child to be a high school dropout? Do I want my child to end up in prison because they don't respect authority? Do I want my child to be a runaway? Think about all these things. Do I want my child to be a teen pregnancy statistic? Think of all these things. When you're laying down with a guy and you're not on birth control and he's not using a condom and y'all saying, oh, well, you can pull out. Okay, well, what about pre-ejaculation? There's a thing called pre. What about that? So you have to think about that. And, or if you're sexually active, just get on birth control. Someone, no, I'm against birth control. Okay. Use protection. Because like I said earlier, it's not just about protecting yourself from a STI or STD. I don't even know what it's called nowadays. It's not just about protecting yourself from an STI. It's also about protecting yourself from having a child that may grow up to be a degenerate in society. That's it. Now, to the guys, okay, if you're going to lay with a woman, make sure you use a condom, make sure she's on a pill, or make sure it's somebody that if she get pregnant, you plan on being around, because y'all are contributing to these statistics. And the only person that really lose is the child. Only person that lose is the child. So, guys, girls, stop being selfish and think about the kid, the potential kid or the future kid or whatever you want to call it. And that's where I have it. That's all I got to say about that. Let me know what you think about this video. Leave me a comment. Send me a message. If you got any topics you want me to talk about, y'all already know the deal. Put them in the comments. Send me a message. Send me an email. All that information is in the details. And that's about it. Oh, and make sure, as always, like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. Oh, and also make sure you pick up the 7 Keys to a Successful Relationship. It's my new book. It's in the description. The link is in the description. And I think that's about it. So with that, we're signing off. Peace.
I'm just living my life. 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 I'm just living my life.